Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers 14 new minicamp invitees. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited 14 players to try out for their team during minicamp, and this will take place on May 9th to May 11th. And these players are a handful of undrafted free agents coming in to try to earn a spot. This is a 3-day event, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are giving these guys a chance. But first, before I get into who these players are, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, however, even though most of these players do consist of undrafted free agents, they can also include some veterans. And some of you may think that these players have no chance of making this roster. Well, looking at last year alone, running back Jonathan Ward participated on a tryout basis and then snuck his way onto the roster. So anything could happen, and these guys are be given a chance and trying to earn their spot. So now let's get into who these players are, and then I'll give a breakdown of each one afterwards. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited on a tryout basis to rookie minicamp Philip O'Brien Jr., a safety from Pittsburgh. They've invited Gareth Warren, an offensive lineman from Lindenwood. They've invited a long snapper from Rhode Island, Donte Crisanti. They've also invited Jaden Johnson, another safety, this time from Arkansas. They've invited Frazier Mason, a punter from Ole Miss. They've invited Eddie Faulkner IV. Yes, he has a relationship with the Steelers running back coach, Eddie Faulkner, a cornerback from Slippery Rock. Omarion Dollison, a wide receiver from James Madison, also gets invited. Dom Shipargi III, an offensive lineman from Central Michigan, gets invited. Seth Morgan, a cornerback from New Hampshire. Hollis Mathis, a wide receiver from William and Mary. Tommy Smith, tight end / wide receiver from Rhode Island. Debo Williams, a linebacker from South Carolina. Max Hurleman, a cornerback and return man from Notre Dame. And finally, Nate Matalik, an edge from Pittsburgh. So, these are the 14 players that have got invited to the Pittsburgh Steelers to try to compete for spots. And you have to remember that these players are not under contract. They are not signed to the team. So, they're going to have an extra chip on their shoulder to try to actually make this roster and compete even further in the preseason, the other camps, training camp, and more to try to make this roster and to make the NFL not just a dream anymore, but a reality. So these are the players the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited, 14 of them. And now let's get into the breakdown of each one. And we're going to start off from where we left off. And it's a transfer from Kansas State, Malik. He had a career-high 5 sacks for Pittsburgh last season to go along with 22 total sacks, 8 of which were for a loss, and he also had 3 pass defense and a forced fumble. He measures in at 6'4" and 254 pounds. He finished his college career with 14.5 sacks. That's enough on him. Let's look at Hurleman, because he began his college career at Colgate, toggling between running back and receiver before he transferred to Notre Dame in the 2024 season and moving to the cornerback position. He served as the team's starting punt returner as well, while chipping in 13 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. Now, looking at a 2-time team captain for the Gamecocks defense, Williams. He registered 176 tackles over the last 2 seasons, including 113 tackle campaign in the 2023 season, and he stands at 6 feet tall, 225 pounds. So, he doesn't have the most athletic profile from his pro day workout, but he did manage to put up a whopping 32 reps on the bench press, showing out his strength. Now, moving over to Smith. He did it all at Rhode Island, at part-time fullback, tight end, and wide receiver. His best season came in the 2024 campaign when he caught 28 passes for more than 400 yards, and 3 touchdowns. His special teams are also his calling card, and we all know that's how you make your spots and make your way into the NFL from undrafted guy. And that's through Danny Smith and special teams. He's a force on the coverage unit throughout his college career. Now, moving over to Mathis. He played running back, wide receiver, and quarterback at William Mary. And he goes for over 1,000 career yards at all 3 positions. In 2024, he caught 52 passes for 600 yards, and he's a local native graduating from Penn Hills High School. Moving over to Morgan. He played at 3 schools, VMI, Shepherd, and finally New Hampshire. He threw for over 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns in the 2024 season while leading the Wildcats to the playoffs. He is a Pittsburgh native and played high school football at Mate Limbinen, the same high school assistant GM Andy Weidel attended. Now, moving over to center at Michigan, Central Michigan that is, at Pigla. He measured in at 6'1", 300 pounds with 30 3/4 inch arms at CMU at his pro day and ran a 5.53 40-yard dash time and put up 21 reps on the bench press. He's local. He played his high school football at Thomas Jefferson High School in Jefferson Hills, and now he's invited to the Steelers to try out. Now, moving over to Dollison. After spending 3 years at South Florida, Dollison transferred to James Madison in 2024, and that's where he caught 37 passes for 633 yards and 6 touchdowns, a strong average of 17.1 yards per catch. He also added in a 73-yard touchdown in the season opener against Charlotte. So, he's invited to the team. Now, moving over to Eddie Faulkner IV. He is an aggressive and powerful nickel cornerback from D2 Slippery Rock. He had a strong 2024 season, recording 53 tackles and 4 forced fumbles. He is the son of Steelers running back coach Eddie Faulkner, and he worked out at Pitt's Pro Day as well. So, another family connection on the team now with Eddie Faulkner IV, and let's see if he can make the roster. Now, looking at a player from Australia, Mason averaged an impressive 46.6 yards per punt during his final year with the Rebels. It tied for the 3rd best average in school history for his career, and he averaged 43.5 yards per punt as Ole Miss starter from the 2022 to 2024 season. His net punting is also strong with the Rebels, and he led FBS in net average. Now, moving over to Johnson, he spent 4 years with the Razorbacks, notching 178 career tackles with 2 interceptions as a senior in 2024. He picked up 57 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 11 pass breakups, and 1 interception. He brings good size in at 6'1" and 203 pounds. Now, moving over to Chris Onti. He was a 4-year starting long snapper at Rhode Island and invited to the 2025 Hula Bowl. One of the college all-stars at the game. At 6'5", 240 pounds, he's listed with great size at the position, and his bio notes the Pittsburgh Steelers are his favorite team. Now, moving over to Warren. He was a first-team All-OVC selection in 2024 for FCS Linderwood, playing left tackle the past 2 seasons after playing guard in 2022. He brings good size at 6'5", 330 pounds, and he has great strength, and he plays the game with a quickness, and his snap quickness is really good. So, moving over O'Brien. He started 3 games in 2024, finishing with 33 tackles and an interception against Syracuse. He recorded 90 tackles for the Panthers and intercepted 3 passes in 2023 while forcing 1 fumble. O'Brien was a big-time recruit out of high school with offers from Alabama, Florida, LSU, and several other power programs. So, that's it. That's all the players the Pittsburgh Steelers have invited to their rookie minicamp to try to make this roster. Once again, this will take place May 9th to May 11th. And if they like these guys, maybe they sign them and have them come back for a later date to try to earn their spot even further. But these players are going to have a hard time making this roster. This roster is stacked, so they need to show out in some category, whether that's defense, whether that's just putting the work in and being a hard worker, or special teams. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are giving these guys a chance, and some players in the past have made the team based off these, so hopefully maybe one of these guys could do the same this offseason. Anyway, this is your introduction to them and their introduction to Steeler Nation. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, because this is the end of the video, on these players. Who do you like out of this group? Who do you think has a good chance of making this roster and proving themselves? And also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports, everything surrounding this team. I've covered it. I'll continue to cover it as we get more into the off season, because the news never stops. So every new player's profile is on the channel, their introduction from the draft, from free agency to the undrafted free agents that we signed to now these guys. So go ahead and check all of that out, and I'll make sure to keep covering it as the offseason goes along. So like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.